Welcome back to another week of Seek at Home. Earlier this month, we did some personal archaeology to find memorabilia, physical bits and pieces that memorialize special moments in our own lives. Here are some examples of what our Ethical Society community came up with. I love that quest. It was terrific getting to know you better through important moments in your life. Big thanks to everyone who participated. Keep sending us your great stories. You know, individuals aren't the only ones who keep reminders of things that are important to them. Just like individuals, communities have people and events that are important to their history. And there are times when the leadership of a community will make a collective decision about meaningful accomplishments they want to remember, and the people who achieved them. And that's why, just about everywhere you go, you can find a very specific type of long-lasting and often very large monument, a statue. Sometimes, statues are real-life embodiments of important fictional characters connected to the area. You can see some great examples of this nearby on day trips. Just across the river in Chester, Illinois, you can find this statue of everyone's favorite spinach-loving seafarer, Popeye. Chester is the birthplace of L.Z. Chrysler Seeger, the original creator of Popeye, and a statue of his most famous creation has stood in Seeger Park on the bank of the Mississippi River for over 30 years. In fact, there are statues of Popeye characters all over Chester, in tribute to the town's most popular export. If that's not enough for you, from there you might hop in the car and drive about 2 hours southeast and find yourself in a town that sounds familiar. In the DC Comics universe, Superman lives and serves in the bustling city of Metropolis. Even though that Metropolis is a fictional place, the real, much smaller town of Metropolis, Illinois, has leaned into the shared name, and they pay homage to the superheroism the character represents with this statue. But maybe, in your statue search, you're hoping to take a really long, soothing drive somewhere new. My recommendation in that case would be to visit West Virginia. As the story goes, in 1966, two young couples out for a drive caught sight of a great big creepy critter in the skies north of Point Pleasant. From there, the legend of the Mothman was born. Soon, reports were coming in from all over the area that a humanoid beast with a huge 10-foot wingspan, glowing red eyes, and the face of an insect was haunting the skies and the woods in the area. Before long, the town had become a tourist destination for mystery solvers from all over, and the Mothman became a major moneymaker for the local economy. These statues honoring fictional figures, they're a lot of fun. Aside from making great photo ops and roadside attractions, they tell us important stories about an area's history. Of course, it seems like most statues we see are the ones that honor real people. And we've got plenty of those right here in St. Louis. Near Tucker Boulevard and Market Street downtown, you'll find the Firefighters Memorial, dedicated to the heroism and bravery of firefighters, past, present, and future. In the Missouri Botanical Gardens, you'll find its founder, botanist and philanthropist Henry Shaw, waiting to welcome you to relax among the beauty of nature. And the Honorable Frankie Muse Freeman stands proudly downtown in Keener Plaza. The woman who some would later call Frankie Freedom became a civil rights attorney who fought to end segregated housing and promoted equal rights in St. Louis and nationwide during the civil rights movement. In addition to her incredible work here in St. Louis, she made waves all over the country. She was the first woman to be appointed to the United States Commission on Civil Rights in 1964. Anthropologists have identified statues as important parts of many cultures, dating as far back as 40,000 years. So you'd think that by now, humanity would be pretty skilled at producing great ones. And a lot of times, like with the statues we already talked about, the choices are great ones for the community they stand in. But occasionally, statues don't end up a success story. Every now and then, a statue just turns out badly. Take, for example, when Lucille Ball's hometown of Jamestown, New York decided to honor the iconic comedian with a statue. Excitement for this project was high, but the unveiling was disappointing. Citizens were angry that the statue didn't seem to look much at all like the Lucy they loved. Agreeing with the citizens, the town council got rid of what the locals had dubbed Scary Lucy and commissioned a new statue to replace it. The swap was a success, and the public was pleased with the result. So the good news about those cases is they're fairly easy to fix. Sometimes, though, it's more complicated. Sometimes when we think critically about the subjects of our statues, we realize the person might have done some important things, but they don't represent the overall values we want to promote in our communities, like equity and civil rights or personal integrity. They often become the targets of protest, and at that point, decisions must be made by local leaders about what to do. Often, these statues are removed from their places entirely. We've seen a lot of this in recent years with figures like Christopher Columbus and Confederate Army officers and politicians. It just goes to show you that deciding who to honor requires a lot of thought and consideration. The person or character chosen not only needs to have an important connection to the community, but also needs to have lived their lives in a way that that community can be proud of. And that brings us to our Seek quest for this week. Imagine you were going to dedicate a statue somewhere. Who would your statue honor? How would they be posed? Where would you want your statue to stand? What did that person do that's so important to you? There are so many ways you can tell us about the statue. You can draw it, you could sculpt it, you could write the idea out in words, you could show us similar statues and tell us what you'd change. You could even dress up and pose the way you imagine your statue. Really, any method that helps us see your vision and understand your meaning is fair game. As always, email seek@ethicalstl.org to get the link to submit. Send us your statues by Friday, October 9th to be eligible to win some sweet Ethical Society swag. We can't wait to see what you come up with. And you, we're a multi-generational congregation. This quest is for all ages. There's so much we can all learn from each other, but we can only learn your story if you send it in. So, until next week, thanks for being part of the Ethical Society and Seek at Home. You make all the difference.